Hi, I'm Deb Adams. I'm the Senior Associate at BKK Architects and I was the Project Architect for this, the ACMI Renewal. This is a collaboration between ourselves, exhibition designers Razorfish, and our client ACMI. First of all, we'd like to acknowledge the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land upon which we work. I won't dwell too long on this slide. I know we all talk a lot about collaboration in our industry, but we really do believe that this was a really equitable collaboration between ourselves, Razorfish, our clients ACMI, and had some great input from all of our sub-consultant team, including Bureau North and our fantastic team of sub-consultants, and it's a project we're really proud of. We believe it's a world first in museum culture, where the museum itself provides a platform for the content to transcend its physical boundaries. One of the key ideas that came out of the master plan was to look at this project in the broader context as a piece of city making. The renewal became a way to realise Lab's original vision of Fed Square as a series of laneways connecting the city to the river, which had not been implemented in the original Lab scheme. Originally designed as a shopping centre, circulation routes were convoluted as a result, which was compounded by the museum being spread over 4 levels. The renewal project involved the almost complete gutting of the ground and first floor, so everything we see in yellow on the floor plans is what we touched. The ground floor plan, which you can see here, was one of the things we realised Lab's original vision was to do this was to punch through a huge timber staircase, dubbed the living stair. I'd like to be able to jump and point to that, but I can't quite reach, which is in the centre of the plan with the arrow going through it. The living stair, as we dubbed it, went through the building's heart to provide a defined circulation route as well as the capacity for dwell. Other moves were the relocation of the retail onto a prominent location, which is shown in the northeast corner of the plan, north is up, Flinders Street, and the creation of an expanded free permanent exhibition to replace the much-loved Screen Worlds, which you can see going all the way through here. On the first floor, the key moves were to reorientate the cinema stair, which is shown here, to create a clear line of sight through the atrium and increase legibility, to move the event space up to level 1 to overlook the atrium, to create a new quasi-exhibition and testing space known as the Fed Square Foyer, and perhaps the boldest move, which was to bring the Media Preservation Lab up from the basement and place it out on display. We'll talk about these spaces in a bit more detail as we go. Another of the key themes was the notion of the third space. ACMI had previously suffered from a lack of dwell space, and we discussed from the outset a series of third spaces, the spaces between home and work, such as the urban lounge shown here in this image, and the Fed Square Foyer, which would provide an extension not only for visitors to rest, socialise, scroll, watch content on their phone, but also to encourage the casual visitor that these are spaces for them too. ACMI has previously benefited from high numbers of accidental visitors. It was an act of civic generosity by ACMI to give these spaces back to the broader public and encourage their use by the wider citizens of Melbourne. One of the Renewals team tasks was not to only physically connect the museum in a more legible manner, but also to encourage a cross-pollination of its disparate user groups who would only often come to the museum for a singular purpose and would not often engage in other offerings within the museum. One of the key ways we aimed to solve this problem was through physical connectivity, but also through bringing museum content onto each floor, as discussed previously. Building on the museum's different user groups, we sought to redefine these as watchers, makers and players to describe different levels of activity, from passive watchers to the most engaged makers. The exhibition is designed, however, to encourage a transformative process that encourages visitors to leave as a different type of user than when they arrived. Another key theme was to extend the museum beyond the physical boundary, which was an important aspect of our collective thinking. This is done through the use of the lens, as you can see here in the image on the right, a recyclable cardboard disc with an RFID chip which is modelled on the old Viewmaster. This allows users to collect their own content through the permanent gallery and other areas within the museum, either by interacting with the constellation, which is at the end of the exhibition, and also once at home, visitors can enter their unique code into ACMI's website, which encourages visitors to explore additional content. Having ACMI's own identity shine through and sit comfortably against Fed Square's iconic architectural language was key. ACMI had previously struggled to impart its own identity. Patrons would often mistake going to exhibitions at Fed Square due to a lack of presence, legibility around its entrances and poor wayfinding. The museum was also previously poorly lit at night and would often appear closed to the public after dark. We sought to pay homage to what was there, but clearly identify new insertions within a heritage context. And we received heritage listing while the project was underway, so that came with its own set of challenges, but we worked with Don Bates throughout the project, which was really beneficial and helped sort of navigate that. This is intended to be a counterpoint to Fed Square's angular lines and cooler coloured surfaces. The ceiling coffers are derived from pixelation of digitised moving images were juxtaposed against Lab's angular coffers. Colourful Victorian flora were referenced as a counterpoint to the desert landscapes of traditional Australian imagery found in Fed Square's hard paving. These were then developed into linear forms influenced by compressed film art. So this image down here is an artist's version, a compressed version of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. The urban lounge, as you can see here, is also an exploration of the use of fabric in cinema and performative culture. Timbers added warmth but used the tones found in the existing Federation Square lab sandstone. Seating nooks such as those in the Fed Square foyer shown here and also in the shop provides moments of human scale in contrast to the vastness of the atrium. Additions also celebrated the art of editing. Here you can see the line of the removed existing cinema stair, which you can see here, acknowledging its former location. Identity also played out in a full rebrand, and we worked closely with ACMI's rebranding designer, North. Lastly, part of the brief from ACMI, we closely worked with ACMI's Indigenous curators, and it was important to recognise the First Nation peoples. The new permanent exhibition starts with a piece that you can see here, which is by Vicky Cousins, and it's explored further in the Moving Australia section of the exhibition.